The nature of leadership has puzzled philosophers, historians, and ordinary citizens for thousands of years, prompting endless debates about what truly qualifies an individual to hold the highest office in a nation. We often look at resumes filled with advanced degrees, decades of public service, and a deep understanding of complex bureaucratic systems, assuming these are the necessary ingredients for governance. Yet, history has shown us time and again that formal credentials do not always guarantee wisdom, empathy, or the ability to inspire a populace during times of crisis. This ongoing tension between professional qualification and genuine human connection creates a fascinating lens through which we view our leaders. In the modern era, where traditional institutions face growing skepticism, people are increasingly questioning the standard template of a politician. The conventional path to leadership is no longer viewed as the only viable route, leading many to wonder if the qualities we truly need might be found in the most unexpected places. This collective curiosity often manifests in lighthearted discussions, creative exercises, and social media trends where ordinary individuals share their unconventional visions for governance. It is a phenomenon that speaks volumes about the current cultural zeitgeist, reflecting a deep-seated desire for authenticity, humor, and relatable human traits in a world that often feels overwhelmingly rigid and distant. As we begin to explore this intriguing shift in public perception, it becomes clear that the search for leadership is evolving into something far more imaginative than a mere review of political credentials. Before we dive deeper into the extraordinary and sometimes hilarious alternatives that people have proposed, take a quick moment to subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on our deep dives into the fascinating cultural shifts and trends shaping our world today. The conversation around what makes a great leader has recently taken a remarkably creative turn on digital platforms, serving as a unique barometer for public sentiment. When a simple speculative question is posed to a global audience, the responses often transcend mere jokes to reveal a profound commentary on our collective values. People from all walks of life begin to look past the traditional talking points of political campaigns and instead focus on core human attributes that they feel are sorely missing from the public sphere. They look for individuals who embody intellect without arrogance, individuals who have demonstrated a lifelong commitment to education and culture, and individuals who can communicate complex ideas with clarity and grace. The yearning for a figure who values knowledge for its own sake, rather than as a tool for political maneuvering, is a recurring theme that underscores a broader cultural desire to return to foundational principles of learning and mutual respect. This exploration is not about the mechanics of policy, but rather about the spirit of leadership, capturing a widespread longing for figures who can unite people through shared cultural touchstones and a genuine appreciation for the arts and humanities. It raises the compelling question of whether a deep engagement with literature, storytelling, and education might actually provide a more stable foundation for guidance than a lifetime spent navigating traditional institutional hallways at the same time. This collective imagination frequently turns toward the realm of entertainment and popular culture, where figures who have earned the trust, affection of millions through decades of consistent public presence are often viewed as ideal candidates. There is a powerful argument to be made that certain cultural icons possess a unique form of qualification that cannot be measured by political experience alone. These are individuals who have built massive, enduring platforms based on philanthropy, business acumen, and an undeniable ability to connect with people on a deeply personal level. When the public looks at a beloved entertainer or a media mogul, they see a track record of success, resilience, and a distinct lack of the perceived cynicism that often clouds traditional public figures. The appeal lies in their proven ability to command attention, inspire hope, and manage vast enterprises with a sense of dignity and purpose. This inclination to elevate cultural figures to the highest hypothetical offices suggests that for many, the ideal leader is someone who already feels like a permanent, comforting fixture in their daily lives. It highlights a fascinating cultural shift where the boundaries between media influence and civic leadership become increasingly blurred, prompting us to reconsider what it truly means to represent the face and spirit of a nation on the global stage. As this fascinating public dialogue unfolds across various social circles and online spaces, it also begins to venture into the realm of the absurd, using sharp wit and surreal humor to make a point about the state of modern authority. When people start suggesting that inanimate objects or fictional characters might be preferable to traditional leadership, it serves as a brilliant form of social satire. These exaggerated, humorous suggestions are not just random thoughts. They are a manifestation of a shared irony that allows communities to cope with the complexities and frustrations of the modern world. By imagining a world led by beloved childhood figures or everyday household items, the public creates a safe space to laugh at the often chaotic nature of contemporary life. This blend of earnest desire for better representation and comedic relief creates a rich tapestry of commentary that is both entertaining and deeply revealing. It sets the stage for a much larger exploration of how humor can be used to critique traditional power structures, preparing us to look at the specific, incredibly colorful examples that have captured the public imagination. In the next part of our report, we will dive directly into the heart of this captivating discussion, revealing the specific names, characters, and surprising entities that people believe could redefine leadership, while exploring the deeper meaning behind these unexpected choices. The digital landscape erupted into a vibrant, chaotic forum when an online prompt invited the public to name a totally unqualified person who would make a magnificent leader. The responses that flooded in were a brilliant mixture of genuine admiration, sharp cultural critique, and outright absurdity, perfectly encapsulating the mood of a society looking for alternative perspectives. Among the most popular and immediate suggestions were prominent figures from late-night television and media commentary, specifically Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert. For decades, these individuals have occupied a unique position in contemporary culture, serving as the trusted translators of complex current events for millions of viewers. By using satire, irony, and unwavering intelligence, they have managed to dissect complicated national issues with a level of clarity and honesty that many feel is entirely absent from conventional institutional briefings. The public does not view them merely as comedians, but as vital guardians of truth, who are capable of holding power accountable while maintaining an empathetic connection with the average citizen. The tension in the discussion builds as people realize that these media personalities, despite having absolutely no formal training in governance or diplomacy, possess a deep, practical understanding of the very systems they critique, making them incredibly compelling hypothetical candidates in the eyes of an appreciative audience. As the thread gathered momentum, the suggestions shifted from the sharp wit of late-night hosts to individuals who embody a more gentle, educational, and intellectual approach to human connection. A standout mention was LeVar Burton, the beloved educator and television icon who spent generations encouraging children to explore the world through literature. The sentiment behind his nomination was beautifully captured by participants who noted that society desperately needs a leader who truly knows how to crack open a book and value deep learning. Burton represents an era of public broadcasting that prioritized curiosity, literacy, and mutual respect over sensationalism and conflict. In a world where public discourse can often feel shallow and adversarial, the idea of elevating a lifelong educator to the highest office in the land introduces a powerful form of tension. It forces us to contrast the aggressive, hyper-competitive nature of modern public life with the quiet, transformative power of education and empathy. This desire for a leader who values knowledge for its own sake highlights a profound cultural longing for a return to foundational principles, where wisdom and a commitment to lifelong learning are viewed as the ultimate forms of authority. The wave of earnest admiration crested even higher with the mention of cultural titan Dolly Parton, a figure whose cross-generational and cross-cultural appeal is virtually unmatched in modern history. The public quickly rallied around her name, fiercely defending her intellect by reminding critics that she is far from a dumb blonde and that one does not achieve her monumental enduring success by being ditty. Parton has built an enormous business empire, funded critical medical research, and sent millions of books to children worldwide through her literacy programs, all while maintaining an approachable, down-to-earth persona. The tension in her inclusion lies in the brilliant subversion of expectations. She uses a carefully crafted, flamboyant image to mask a razor-sharp business mind and a deeply compassionate heart. People see in her a leader who can navigate complex financial landscapes and massive organizational challenges without ever losing her warmth or her connection to ordinary communities. Her presence in this speculative discussion demonstrates that the public increasingly defines true capability not by the title someone holds, but by the tangible, positive impact they have made on the world around them. The conversation then took a turn toward the structurally impossible and the deliciously unconventional, bringing forward names like Zohran Mamdani, acknowledged by users as constitutionally unqualified but completely amazing. Such suggestions highlight the interesting friction between rigid legal frameworks and popular enthusiasm. This phase of the discussion began to blur the lines between reality and fiction, shifting rapidly from actual human beings to beloved cultural symbols and comedic ensembles. The entire cast of the television comedy series It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia was put forward as a collective candidate, a hilarious paradox given that the characters in the show are famously self-absorbed, chaotic, and entirely dysfunctional. Yet, recommending them serves as a magnificent piece of social commentary, suggesting that a group of transparently chaotic misfits might at least offer a level of raw honesty that traditional institutions lack. The tension heightens as the public uses these wild theatrical comparisons to highlight the perceived absurdity of modern systems. Using the dark humor of a sitcom to process their own feelings of disconnection from the centers of authority, this comedic momentum naturally paved the way for even more surreal suggestions, leading straight to the inclusion of Sesame Street's iconic Cookie Monster. One participant bluntly stated that Cookie Monster would be significantly better than what we currently have, a comment that perfectly captures the underlying frustration driving this entire exercise. On the surface, it is a ridiculous joke about a blue furry puppet obsessed with baked goods. Beneath that surface, however, lies a poignant truth. Cookie Monster is single-minded, completely transparent about his motives, and entirely devoid of hidden agendas or deceptive rhetoric. He wants cookies, and he is honest about it. In a complex world filled with carefully curated public personas and confusing statements, the absolute simplicity and predictability of a childhood character becomes a strange source of comfort. This section of the public dialogue beautifully illustrates how humor acts as a pressure valve, allowing people to voice serious critiques of modern public life through the comforting, nostalgic lens of characters they have loved since infancy, setting the stage for an even deeper descent into the truly bizarre and magnificent examples of alternative leadership. The fascinating journey through the public imagination reaches its absolute peak when the suggestions cross the boundary from famous cultural icons into the completely surreal realm of domestic pets and everyday household objects. This ultimate phase of the discussion reveals a magnificent layer of human psychology, showing how people use extreme irony to navigate their relationship with authority. For instance, one participant proudly put forward a snail living in their fish tank, describing the tiny creature as an incredibly hard worker. Another user suggested their favorite squishmallow, which happens to be shaped like a jar of pickles, while someone else advocated for a jar of mayonnaise decorated with googly eyes. There were even suggestions to simply throw a dart at a phone book, randomly select a single YouTube commenter, or substitute traditional leadership with a box of hammers or a bag of cat food. On the surface, these ideas are completely hilarious and nonsensical, but when we look closer, they carry a profound meaning. They represent a collective desire for absolute harmlessness, predictability, and a total absence of ego. A snail or a plush toy cannot make empty promises, cannot cause systemic complications, and cannot disappoint the people. This brilliant use of absurdism highlights how deeply the public yearns for simplicity and transparency, choosing to find comfort in the quiet, dependable existence of everyday items and innocent animals, amidst this wave of surreal humor. The conversation also featured several highly accomplished individuals from the worlds of cinema, philanthropy, and media, proving that the public is constantly balancing comedic relief with earnest admiration. The charming Matthew McConaughey was suggested by a user who noted that if society is destined to elevate media personalities, it might as well choose an incredibly charismatic and thoughtful one. McConaughey has frequently engaged in deep public discussions about values, resilience, and community, making him a fascinating example of an entertainer who bridges the gap between Hollywood stardom and philosophical reflection. Similarly, the powerful and energetic Terry Crews was put forward as a serious contender, celebrating his incredible work ethic, transparent vulnerability, and unique ability to inspire people across diverse demographics. The inclusion of these figures demonstrates that the public deeply values individuals who have used their massive platforms to promote personal growth, positivity, and authentic human connection. This desire for proven capability and deep resourcefulness became even more apparent when participants suggested major figures from global philanthropy and media empires, such as Melinda French Gates and Oprah Winfrey. One passionate commentator noted that while Oprah has no formal political qualifications, they would absolutely love her to be the face of the nation. emphasizing that she possesses an incredible intellect that surpasses many traditional figures they have voted for in the past. These women have spent decades managing massive global initiatives, navigating complex socioeconomic challenges, and addressing critical humanitarian issues on an international scale. By including them, the public is making a clear distinction between the theatrical nature of traditional campaigns and the practical, tangible results of large-scale philanthropy. People see in these leaders a rare combination of immense strategic intelligence and deep empathy, suggesting that the ability to run a global foundation or build a historic media empire might actually be the ultimate preparation for guiding a society through complex times. Even the world of classic American business and grassroots entrepreneurship found a place in this sweeping public dialogue, with a nostalgic nod toward the iconic founders Ben and Jerry. A participant whimsically noted that they would happily accept either of the legendary ice cream makers, though they expressed a slight preference for Ben. This choice is incredibly telling as it highlights a fondness for a specific model of business that prioritizes community welfare, social responsibility, and ethical practices over pure, unbridled profit. Ben and Jerry represent a corporate philosophy that feels deeply human, accessible, and grounded in everyday values. By imagining them in the highest offices of leadership, the public is expressing a desire for a system that feels fair, community-oriented, and genuinely invested in the well-being of ordinary citizens, proving that even a casual reference to an ice cream brand can carry a powerful message about the kind of world people want to live in. The entire extraordinary exercise finally brought the narrative full circle by highlighting a deeply personal and ouching comparison involving our closest animal companions. One participant beautifully noted that their own dog possesses significantly higher levels of self-awareness, intuition, and genuine intelligence than the traditional options currently available. This simple, heartfelt statement captures the very essence of the entire discussion. Dogs are symbols of absolute loyalty, unconditional love, and an instinctive ability to read human emotions. They do not calculate advantages, they do not hide their true feelings, and their motives are always pure. In a world that often feels overwhelmingly complex and filled with strategic maneuvering, the simple, honest presence of a devoted pet becomes the ultimate standard against which people measure true character and leadership. Ultimately, this grand, viral exploration initiated by Jules Sindler on Threads is far more than a collection of internet jokes or a passing digital trend. It is a vivid, living portrait of modern cultural psychology, illustrating how humor, irony, and creative imagination serve as essential tools for civic expression. Whether people are cheering for late-night satirists like Jon Stewart, celebrating the profound educational legacy of LeVar Burton, championing the immense philanthropic impact of Dolly Parton, or laughing at the absolute simplicity of Cookie Monster and a jar of mayonnaise, they are all participating in a vital cultural ritual. They are redefining what capability looks like, stripping away the rigid traditional labels of authority, and demanding a return to core human values like empathy, honesty,